What if I told you all the horrible stuff that happened in 2020 was actually predicted 40 years ago?
Oh gosh, you're about to break the internet, aren't you?
Maybe, and I think we can all say 2020 was by far one of the worst years in history.
Yeah, I think it's been the worst year for everybody in their entire life.
Yeah, but the year 2020 was actually predicted 40 years ago in a book called Eyes of Darkness, written in 1981 by Dean Koontz, and also by another book written in 2008. And in the book, there's a prediction about 2020, and it says in 2020, there will be a pneumonia-like illness that will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes.
40 years ago, they literally predicted what everybody's going through right now.
Ryan, it was even predicted where this flu-like illness came from.
There's no way.
But get this, it said it will disappear and then it'll come back 10 years later.
Don't tell me we have to go through this again in 2030.
Have you ever heard of the Lion King theory?
No.
Okay, so everybody knows the song Hakuna Matata and how it's about not worrying, right?
Yeah, it's one of the best songs ever.
Right, but what if I told you it's not as happy as you think, and there's a completely different reason why they sing it?
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna learn something new today, huh?
So the theory is the song is about Timon and Pumbaa worrying that Simba's gonna eat them.
What?
So in the middle of the song, Simba gets really hungry, and he says, "I'm so hungry I could eat a whole zebra." And then Timon starts to get really nervous, and he goes, "No zebra here." Then he asks, "Is there any antelope?" And Timon goes, "No." Then he asks, "Any hippo?" And Timon goes, "Nope."
Well, I guess it makes sense because Simba's a lion, and lions eat other animals.
Right, so then Timon and Pumbaa try to convince Simba to eat bugs instead of animals, and Timon tells him that it tastes like chicken.
How does Timon even know what chickens taste like?
Exactly, but Simba eats a bug, and he ends up liking it, and then Timon and Pumbaa are really relieved because they know he won't eat them.
All the times I've watched Lion King, I never even realized this was in the song. It kind of ruins the song for me.
Oops.
So I have a theory about the new Spider-Man No Way Home movie.
Wait, what?
Do you know in the show Loki how they call the different versions of Loki variants? Which is basically showing us the multiverse, how there's different versions of the same character.
Yeah.
And you know how it's rumored that Tobey Maguire is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie?
Dude, I'm gonna freak out if that actually happens.
So this is where the theory comes in. You know how in every single Spider-Man movie we see Uncle Ben and they show how he dies?
Yeah.
But in Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man, we've never seen what Uncle Ben looks like.
Right.
What if Tobey Maguire in Tom Holland's variant timeline was actually Uncle Ben? And when Tom Holland sees Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man for the first time, he's gonna get really emotional because he looks just like his Uncle Ben. Because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is actually a variant of Uncle Ben in Tom Holland's timeline.
Wait, that would be so crazy if they connect both universes like that.
It would make the movie better because you would see like this relationship that Tom Holland has with his Uncle Ben again.
Have you ever heard of the Scooby-Doo theory?
Daniel, don't you dare ruin Scooby-Doo for me.
Okay, so there's a theory that Scooby-Doo was a Russian spy.
What?
Okay, so everybody knows Scooby-Doo is one of the greatest cartoons ever created, but it was created in 1969, during the time of the Cold War and the space race.
What was the space race again?
So the space race was a race between the US and Russia to see who could get a human to space first.
Okay, I remember this now.
But Russia didn't want to risk sending humans, so instead, they successfully sent dogs to space. So you ever wonder why Scooby's so smart and can do human things like talk and walk on two legs?
Why?
So the theory is that Russia scientifically created dogs that were highly intelligent so they could send them to space. And Scooby is one of those dogs, but he failed all of his tests and training because of how distracted he got by food.
Typical Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, so instead they sent him to America to be a Russian spy dog. But he ran away from his Russian owners and the US found out that Scooby was on the loose in the US.
Oh my gosh.
And this is why the original show is called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? It's because he's on the run from the CIA.
Well, I'm glad you didn't ruin Scooby-Doo for me.
You're welcome. Have you ever heard of the Scooby-Doo theory?
Daniel, don't you dare ruin Scooby-Doo for me.
Okay, so there's a theory that Scooby-Doo was a Russian spy.
What?
Okay, so everybody knows Scooby-Doo is one of the greatest cartoons ever created, but it was created in 1969, during the time of the Cold War and the space race.
What was the space race again?
So the space race was a race between the US and Russia to see who could get a human to space first.
Okay, I remember this now.
But Russia didn't want to risk sending humans, so instead, they successfully sent dogs to space. So you ever wonder why Scooby's so smart and can do human things like talk and walk on two legs?
Why?
So the theory is that Russia scientifically created dogs that were highly intelligent so they could send them to space. And Scooby is one of those dogs, but he failed all of his tests and training because of how distracted he got by food.
Typical Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, so instead they sent him to America to be a Russian spy dog. But he ran away from his Russian owners and the US found out that Scooby was on the loose in the US.
Oh my gosh.
And this is why the original show is called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? It's because he's on the run from the CIA.
Well, I'm glad you didn't ruin Scooby-Doo for me.
You're welcome. What if I told you Monsters Inc. and Toy Story were connected?
Well, I guess you're connecting two of my favorite movies.
So remember in Monsters Inc. that one monster runs out of the room because he's super scared and he's crying?
Are you talking about the big blue one with the claws?
Yeah, so I saw this article, and if you pause the movie right before he slams the door, you could see a poster on the wall. And guess where else you see that poster?
Where do you see it?
So in Toy Story 1, in Sid's room, he has the same exact poster on the wall.
Wait, doesn't the monster say there's a girl in the room?
Right, but what if the monster got scared because he was expecting to see Sid in his room, but instead it was Sid's little sister, and that's why he got scared.
Gosh, I bet Sid's sister's evil just like Sid.
Right? But there's another theory that Randall used to scare Andy.
Wait, how do you know that?
So remember when we see Randall practicing camouflage on the different wallpapers, and we see him practice on a wallpaper with white clouds and a blue background? The only other place we see that wallpaper in any Pixar movie is in Andy's room.
Wait, remember at the end of Monsters Inc., Boo has a Jessie doll from Toy Story, and she gives it to Sully?
Exactly. They're all connected, man.
I feel like this makes the movies more interesting to me. I have a crazy story. What if I told you a shark saved a guy's life?
Okay, it's either a really lucky guy or a really nice shark.
So I read this article written in 2015 by Sarah Kaplan. So Eugene Finney, a father of 2 kids, went on a trip to Huntington Beach in California. So they wanted to go to the beach to hang out. So Eugene was playing with his kids in the water when all of a sudden he got hit by something really hard. And he said he felt the worst pain he's ever felt in his whole life. He realized that he was just bitten by a great white shark.
What the heck?
So he didn't want to ruin the trip for his family. So he's like, I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'm fine. So then a few days later, he started to feel that pain again. So he's like, I'm going to drive myself to the hospital.
Eugene sounds like a legend. He got bit by a shark and he just wiped it off.
So the doctors had to do many tests and x-rays on Eugene. The tests found that Eugene had a form of a deadly cancer growing around his heart.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily, the doctors were able to treat it and remove the cancer out of his body. Eugene was very lucky that the doctors were able to remove the cancer, because if they waited any longer, he would have probably died because the cancer was growing so quick. If the shark never bit him, he would have never known he had cancer. The shark actually saved his life.
Dude, this guy's the luckiest guy to walk on the planet. Okay, I may have found out who sunk the Titanic.
What?
Okay, remember I told you the Titanic never sank and it was actually the Olympic, and JP Morgan owned 3 boats. The Titanic, the Olympic, and the Britannic.
He sunk them for the insurance money, right?
Right, so there's a theory that all these boats sank because of one person.
JP Morgan?
No, get this. There's only one person that attended all 3 boats and survived all 3 wrecks, and they call her Miss Unsinkable.
You're telling me that this person was on all 3 boats when they had their wrecks and survived?
Exactly. Her name was Violet Jessup, and she worked as a nurse on all 3 boats and survived every single wreck.
That's suspicious.
Right? She survived the Titanic's iceberg, the Britannic's explosion, and the collision of the Olympic.
What the?
So many theorists have claimed that she was hired to cause all the accidents on every single boat.
Well, it makes sense if she's the only person to be on all 3 ships when they had their wrecks and then survived.
Exactly.
Have you heard of the iCarly theory?
No.
What if I told you that iCarly and Drake and Josh are in the same universe?
Wait, how would that even work?
So in Drake and Josh, there's a movie called Ich Glockma. And then in iCarly, there's the same movie, Ich Glockma. Also in Drake and Josh, there's a shoe company called Deka Shoes. And in the show, they're watching a Deka shoe commercial. And then in iCarly, Deka Shoes is trying to hire Carly to advertise their shoes. And do you know how Miranda Cosgrove was in Drake and Josh and also in iCarly? Guess who else was in Drake and Josh and in iCarly?
Spencer.
Yes, so Spencer from iCarly also played Crazy Steve in Drake and Josh. There's a theory that Crazy Steve actually killed Drake and Josh's family, but kept Megan and Drake alive. So Crazy Steve brainwashes Drake and Megan because he wants Megan to become his sister, and he kept Drake alive because he knew that he was the dumb one. And what he does is he has Megan change her name to Carly Shay and moves her to Seattle, leaving Drake in San Diego.
That just got really dark.
And then in iCarly, Drake actually comes back and he goes, Megan, where's Josh? And where's mom and dad? Because he's starting to remember his past, but he can't remember where everybody went.
That just completely ruined my childhood. Did you know that Disney might be ruining the lives of your favorite celebrities?
How?
So everybody knows Selena Gomez and Miley Cyrus, how they both work for Disney and everybody loved their music.
I do.
Right, but stars under Disney contract have said their lives were miserable and they're really restricted on what they can do in their daily life.
I've heard a lot of Disney Channel stars say that it was very traumatizing.
Yeah, so I read an article that Disney stars have to approve the clothes they wear every day and they can't have any bad words in their songs. And Disney made it very clear that if they broke these rules, their contract would be over because they don't want to lose their kid-friendly image.
I guess that makes sense.
Right, but there's a theory that Disney stars try to get fired on purpose so that Disney will end their contract, but the only way out is to break their rules.
Wait, what?
Okay, but a Radio Disney employee said that when Miley Cyrus released her song Can't Be Tamed, the very next day Disney canceled everything connected with Miley Cyrus and canceled her contract.
I remember when that song came out.
Right, so Disney stars break the rules and make inappropriate music on purpose so Disney will end their contract and they can go live on their own career.
So basically they're trying to get themselves fired. Have you heard of the Black Widow theory?
Wait, are there going to be any spoilers?
It's a spoiler for everyone who hasn't seen Black Widow.
Alright, let's hear it.
So in Black Widow, we see how Thunderbolt Ross is trying to hunt down Black Widow, but he looks really sick.
Yeah, in the movie he didn't look too good.
And this is just like in the comics, how Thunderbolt Ross gets really sick and is about to die, so he takes a super soldier serum, the same serum that Captain America took, but it goes wrong and he ends up turning into the Red Hulk.
Wait, isn't the Red Hulk just Hulk but red?
Yeah, so there's a theory that there's a new superhero team that's being formed.
Wait, are you serious?
So at the end of Black Widow, we see that Yelena Belova is at Natasha's grave, and all of a sudden Valentina comes up and she's trying to recruit Yelena Belova, just like how she recruited John Walker, the US agent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So Valentina is trying to create her own Avengers team, and it's most likely that she's trying to create the Thunderbolts. So get this, the Thunderbolts team has Yelena Belova, Black Widow, Red Hulk, who is Thunderbolt Ross, Taskmaster, who we see becomes good at the end of Black Widow, Ghost, who we see in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Hawkeye, Clint Barton, Zemo from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, John Walker, the US agent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2.
Dude, this team sounds crazy. What if I told you Timmy Turner is not who you think he is?
What are you trying to say? He's like an imposter?
So there's a theory that Timmy Turner wished that Cosmo and Wanda create him his dream life, where he's a superhero and he saves the world, and he brings all of his friends along for the ride. And that new life is the life of Danny Phantom.
Wait, what?
The creator of both shows, Butch Hartman, said it's very possible that Timmy Turner and Danny Phantom are the same exact person.
Dude, I love Butch Hartman.
So look at Timmy's friends. He has AJ, who is super smart, and he has Chester, that maybe not that smart.
Yeah, he's stupid.
But then look at Danny's guy friends. He has Tucker, who is very smart, and he has Dash, that isn't that smart, and both of them look like older versions of AJ and Chester.
They literally look like the same exact person.
Then look at Timmy's girlfriends. He has Tootie, who has floating ponytails and always wears a plaid skirt, and then Trixie has dark black hair and always wears a pink top. Then you look at Danny's girlfriends, and he has Sam, who has a floating ponytail and always wears a plaid skirt, and then you have Paulina, who has dark black hair and always wears a pink top. And in the shows, Timmy has a crush on Trixie, and Danny has a crush on Paulina, showing that they might be the same person.
If Timmy is Danny, it makes sense if they like the same person. Have you heard of the Shrek theory?
No, but I love Shrek.
So we all know Shrek is about an ogre named Shrek and his friend Donkey, who's a donkey. And all the fairy tale characters like Pinocchio, Three Little Bears, the Gingerbread Man, all those.
Yeah, it was one of the best movies ever.
So remember in Shrek 1 where Lord Farquaad puts out a poster saying fairy tale creature rewards? And he has his guards pay people who bring fairy tale creatures to him.
Dude, I hate Farquaad.
So this is where the theory comes in. Remember when there's three little bears in cages? The mama and papa bear in one cage, and then there's a baby bear, and the baby bear's like, oh no, the cage is too small.
Yeah.
And then that night when all the fairy tale creatures come to Shrek Swamp, you see the papa and baby bear are crying. There's a theory that Lord Farquaad actually killed the mama bear.
Wait, what do you mean?
So there's a scene in Lord Farquaad's room where you see on the ground there's a rug, and that rug is the body of the mama bear. And you could see that on the top there's a pink bow. It's the same exact bow the mama bear had.
Dude, that's not even a theory if her body's on the ground. Do you know the Pixar Soul theory?
No.
So Soul was one of the best movies released in 2020, and it was a huge hit for Pixar. But at the end of the movie, we never know where 22 ends up. So it leaves the question of who does 22 become?
Wait, you know who she becomes?
Yeah, so in the Art of Soul book, we get to see what all the symbols mean that 22 has. And it says that 22 is a moody, extroverted cynic who is extremely punctual. Punctual meaning they're always early.
Yeah, it fits her description.
Right, so there's a theory that at the end of the movie, when 22 and Joe are going back to Earth, 22 becomes Colette from Ratatouille.
Wait, they actually act like the same exact person.
Right? So in Ratatouille, we always see Colette being super moody and impatient with Linguini. Just how 22 is with Joe in Soul.
Yeah, they both got some fire to them.
Right? Colette even threatens to kill Linguini at one point and almost cuts off his arm. Remember when Linguini falls asleep at the restaurant? Colette is the first person to show up out of everybody.
Yeah, she's very punctual.
So it only makes sense that 22 is Colette.
I guess it makes sense too how the souls can go to different timelines. It could be like in the past and in the future. So it doesn't have to be like the same timeline as Joe. Have you heard of the Captain America theory?
No.
So remember at the end of Avengers Endgame, we see that Captain America takes back the Infinity Stones and puts them back in the past?
Dude, Endgame was so good.
But remember when Black Widow and Hawkeye go to Vormir? Red Skull says, a soul for a soul. So Black Widow sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone.
Yeah, that was a sad scene.
Okay, so this is where the theory comes in, and it's a big spoiler for people who haven't seen Black Widow yet.
Oh boy.
So the director of the Black Widow movie, Kate Shortland, shot an alternate ending to the movie.
Wait, what do you mean?
Remember when Yelena whistles by Natasha's grave and no one whistles back?
Oh, like that thing they did when they were kids.
Yeah, so in the alternate ending, when Yelena whistles, someone whistles back to her the same way that Black Widow did when she was younger.
Wait, so you're telling me she's still alive?
Well, what if Captain America, when he took back the Soul Stone to Red Skull, he told him a soul for a soul. So he gave back the Soul Stone, and in turn, he gets to bring back Black Widow. And it makes sense since they shot this alternate ending where it implies that Black Widow is still alive.
Dude, that just gave me goosebumps. What if I told you there's a place in the ocean where hundreds of people have gone missing?
Wait, where in the ocean?
So right off the coast of Florida, there's a specific area where so many people have gone missing.
I've been in the ocean in Florida.
Right? And it has been found that only 5% of our entire ocean has been discovered, and only 1% of the ocean floor has been discovered. So we have no idea what's in the ocean.
So what you're saying is, as far as we know, Aquaman could be under the ocean.
Exactly, and just a few weeks ago, the military set off a 40,000-pound bomb in the ocean for training, right where all these people have gone missing. And this place is called called the Bermuda Triangle. The theory is that Atlantis, the underwater city, exists under the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, there's got to be something there or someone there that's taking everybody and making them disappear.
Exactly, and why would the military set off a 40,000-pound bomb in the ocean for training? And it just so happens to be in the place where 16 boats and 15 aircrafts have gone missing while traveling over it.
Yeah, that ain't no coincidence. Like, there's a reason why they did that.
Exactly, so what if the military is secretly trying to destroy Atlantis but doesn't want to tell us it exists?
Dude, who knows what's down there? Have you heard of the Ice Age theory?
No.
What if I told you that Sid the Sloth is the ultimate hero of the whole movie?
How?
So remember when Manny's in the cave and he's showing how his family was killed by hunters? He was at a point in his life where he felt like he had no purpose and no friends and was really sad.
Dude, those hunters are messed up, man.
Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, we see Sid the Sloth, right? And he ruins the rhino's salad. And he gets the last dandelion.
Ah, the last dandelion.
And then the rhinos are running after Sid. And then you see Manny at the edge of this super high cliff. Then Sid runs into him. And he asks Manny for help.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this is where the theory comes in. There's a theory that the reason why Manny's at the edge of a high cliff is because he's actually about to jump off. Because he feels sad and he feels like he doesn't have a purpose. Until Sid runs into him and he finally has a friend again and a purpose.
Wait, I guess it is kind of weird that Manny was just standing by the cliff alone, not caring about anything, like he was just gonna jump off.
Dude, I really think that Sid saved Manny's life.
Sid is underrated, man. Have you ever heard of the Office theory?
No.
What if I told you someone from the show is a criminal?
Wait, who?
So in The Office, there's a city criminal called the Scranton Strangler, and he's mentioned multiple times throughout the show.
Yeah, I remember him.
But we've always wondered who the Scranton Strangler is, but many have theorized that it's Toby Flenderson, but now there's more evidence to back it up.
Wait, you're telling me you actually have proof of this?
Yeah, so in the viewing party episode, we see the entire office at Toby's desk watching the car chase of the Scranton Strangler, but everybody's at Toby's desk except for Toby.
Dude, I always wondered why he wasn't there.
Exactly, and if you look at the car being chased on the news, the same exact car was seen in the parking lot of Dunder Mifflin in an earlier episode, showing that the Scranton Strangler works in the building.
Dude, it probably was Toby. He looks like a killer. And maybe that's why Michael Scott never liked him.
Exactly!
Have you heard of the Simpsons theory?
Wait, is it the one where they predict things?
No, it's a different one. Don't you think it's kind of weird how they never age or grow up?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hasn't the show been going on for like years?
Yeah, so the show's been going on for 31 years and it has 32 seasons, and the characters have never grown up.
Dude, that's a long time.
So this is where the theory comes in. There's a theory that The Simpsons has not been going on for 32 years, but actually has only been going on 11 days in The Simpsons world.
How is that even possible?
Okay, get this. There's 703 episodes and they usually last about 22 minutes long. In total, there's 15,466 minutes, and that equals 11 days. So the reason why The Simpsons don't age is because for them, it feels like it's only been 11 days in their world.
Wait, I never even thought of it like that.
It's crazy, but it makes sense that it's only been 11 days for them.
Yeah, I guess multiple episodes could take place on the same day. What if I told you there's a huge volcano that nobody talks about that can erupt at any moment and destroy the US?
Great, so now we have this right after we got through 2020.
Yeah, so Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming is one of the top vacation sites for families around the US, but the entire park is sitting right on top of a super volcano that's ready to erupt.
Yeah, well, I'm never gonna go there now.
Yeah, it was said that this volcano erupts every 600,000 years, but hasn't erupted in over 640,000 years, so we're 40,000 years overdue.
So what you're telling me, at any moment, this thing could erupt and wipe us all out.
Exactly, so in Shane Dawson's video, scientists have said the volcano has taken a deep breath, which has caused the ground to rise because of all the pressure from the volcano.
So it's literally like a balloon being blown up and there's too much air and it's about to pop.
Yeah, and it is said by scientists that the damage from the volcano could be catastrophic and kill everybody in the US, but not just from the lava, but because of the smoke could cover the sun.
Yeah, because we can't live without sunlight. What if I told you that Scar from Lion King wasn't killed in Lion King, but was actually killed by someone else?
Wait, I thought the hyenas ate him.
No, so we all know at the end of Lion King, we think that Scar dies. But you know, in ancient Greek mythology, whenever a soldier would kill an animal, he would then skin the animal and wear it as like a trophy.
Right.
So this is where the theory comes in. There's a theory that Hercules actually killed Scar.
Hercules?
So in Hercules, we see him posing while someone's trying to paint a picture of him, and he's wearing a dead animal. And that animal is actually Scar. After Lion King, Scar must have survived the hyena attack, and then Hercules must have killed him and skinned him. This theory was confirmed by Andre Astasia, the lead animator at Disney at the time, who worked on Hercules and Lion King, and he confirmed that Scar is actually in Hercules.
Dude, that makes both movies so much better because we know Scar got what he deserved. Do you know about the SpongeBob theory?
Do I want to hear this?
Yes, so we all know and love SpongeBob, but what if I told you the show is not what you think it is?
Oh, here we go. You're going to ruin SpongeBob for everybody.
Maybe. So there's a theory that SpongeBob is just a nature documentary filmed by humans to show abnormally intelligent sea creatures that live a life similar to humans.
Wait, how do you even know that?
So in an old SpongeBob DVD, there's a bonus feature that shows how human scientists studied and filmed the creatures of Bikini Bottom because the fish were exactly like humans. And there's an episode where SpongeBob is taking his driver's test and he runs over the narrator, and we can clearly see the narrator narrator is human because he's dressed like a scuba diver.
Oh yeah, and then he drops the camera.
Exactly, and you know how we always see that human hand come onto screen?
Yeah.
And have you ever noticed that it only comes out to help SpongeBob? Like before every episode, he puts on his clothes because he knows SpongeBob is the main character of the documentary and he has to protect him.
Yeah, I always thought it was weird how it was a human hand.
Yeah, there's even an episode that ends with the family watching the documentary and turning off the TV, proving that SpongeBob is a documentary showing humans how they live.
I'll never view SpongeBob the same now. So there's another Loki theory.
Ooh, I love these.
So remember in WandaVision when Wanda makes the hex bigger and traps more people in the hex?
Yeah, that was a crazy scene.
And then remember when Monica Rambeau tries to go back into the hex? She ends up getting superpowers.
Bro, her powers look sick.
So this is where the theory comes in. There's a theory that when Wanda makes the hex, everybody inside the hex becomes a mutant.
Mutant like X-Men?
Yeah, so spoiler warning for everybody who hasn't seen Loki. But if you start the final episode of Loki and the final episode of WandaVision at the same time, at the 26-minute mark, you see that Wanda's about to beat Agatha, and she's about to turn into the Scarlet Witch. And then if you look at the final episode of Loki, you see Kang get really worried and he looks to the back like checking out the timeline because Kang knows that Wanda is now the Scarlet Witch and she's more powerful than him.
You know, he did look kind of scared.
So the reason why the one who remains wants Loki and Sylvie to kill him knows if he dies, it will create the multiverse and all his variants will come. This is the only way for Kang to take control again and destroy Wanda and all the mutants.
Kang is scary, man. What if I told you all the horrible stuff that happened in 2020 was actually predicted 40 years ago?
Oh gosh, you're about to break the internet, aren't you?
Maybe, and I think we can all say 2020 was by far one of the worst years in history.
Yeah, I think it's been the worst year for everybody in their entire life.
Yeah, but the year 2020 was actually predicted 40 years ago in a book called Eyes of Darkness, written in 1981 by Dean Koontz, and also by another book written in 2008. And in the book, there's a prediction about 2020, and it says in 2020, there will be a pneumonia-like illness that will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes.
40 years ago, they literally predicted what everybody's going through right now.
Ryan, it was even predicted where this flu-like illness came from.
There's no way.
But get this, it said it will disappear and then it'll come back 10 years later.
Don't tell me we have to go through this again in 2030. What if I told you that your best friend could be spying on you?
Oh, we exposing people today?
Have you ever been in a room with a friend and they leave their phone by you and they like leave the room like to go to the bathroom or something?
Yeah, sometimes they even ask me to hold their phone.
So Shane Dawson did this with his friend and he left his phone in the room and then walked out. And then he could hear everything his friend was saying even though he was in another room.
How did he do that?
Well, did you hear about the live listen feature?
No, what is that?
So basically on iPhones, there's a feature called Live Listen, where you can connect your AirPods to your iPhone and you can hear what people are saying even if you're not in the same room as them.
Wait, all you have to do is leave your phone in the room and you can hear what everyone's saying?
Yeah, so all you have to do is connect your AirPods. All you have to do is go to settings and then control center and turn on hearing, and then you will have the live listen feature.
Dude, that's scary. What if I told you that The Incredibles and Ratatouille are connected?
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Okay, so remember towards the end of Ratatouille, we see Linguini and Colette skating together?
Yeah.
If you look really closely in the background, you could see a mime. And there's a theory that that mime ends up being Bon Voyage from The Incredibles.
Wait, he does kind of look like him.
And if you look closely at a newspaper that Colette is reading, the header says Bon Voyage on it. But there's even more. Remember when Chef Skinner was chasing Remy through the streets?
Yeah.
If you replay it in slow motion, you could see a hidden poster of Mr. Incredible in his blue suit. The same exact suit he wore while fighting Bon Voyage in the first Incredibles movie, showing that Bon Voyage is in Ratatouille.
Dude, I never even knew there's a picture of Mr. Incredible in there. Have you heard of the Black Panther theory?
No.
So we all know that Black Panther's a superhero and he's also the king of Wakanda.
That's why he's on my desk.
So you know at the end of Black Panther, what if I told you that Killmonger is not dead?
What? How?
So remember earlier in the movie when Agent Ross gets shot by Killmonger right in the spine, and then T'Challa puts the Kimoyo bead in his back, and then Shuri saved him?
Oh yeah, there's no way he would have survived without that Kimoyo bead.
So this is where the theory comes in. There's a theory that Killmonger is not dead and will become the next Black Panther.
Dude, that'd be so crazy.
So huge spoiler for Black Panther 2. There's just been some leaked photos of the set, and the photos show like a funeral scene for T'Challa. And this is what the pillars say. It says, "Rest in power, King T'Challa, our hero. It was an honor. Wakanda forever." So I think at the end of Black Panther 1, T'Challa actually saved Killmonger. At the end of the movie, you see T'Challa's like right over Killmonger. It looks like he's putting something in Killmonger's wound.
You think he used the Kimoyo bead?
Yeah, it looks like he put something in there. And I think Shuri will save him.
Dude, maybe they froze him like they froze Bucky just in case they ever need him. Have you ever heard of the Friends theory?
No, but you better not ruin Friends. I think everyone's gonna hate you if you ruin Friends.
Just listen, everybody knows the show Friends, and it's one of the most iconic shows ever. And we all know Phoebe Buffay is probably the clueless one in the group, kind of like Joey.
Yeah, Phoebe's the best.
But what if I told you Phoebe's actually a secret genius and has manipulated her friends into thinking she's dumb?
Wait, how?
Throughout the show, we see countless times where she proves that she's incredibly smart. One episode, we find out she could speak French and also Italian without having any background of learning those languages.
Oh yeah, when she's talking to Joey's mom.
Exactly, and in one episode, we get to see what all the characters are thinking. And Joey's singing a song in his head, and then the camera pans to Phoebe, and she's thinking, who's singing? Showing that she's a psychic.
Wait, she actually read his mind.
Yeah, and the actress that plays Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow, is actually a genius in real life. She has an IQ score of 154, and Albert Einstein's is 160.
Wait, you know the average IQ of someone's 98, and she's 154?